bizarre disappearance of a pregnant Michigan woman taking another gruesome turn. Her body turns up in northern Michigan, but the status of her baby is unknown.
Michigan authorities believe they found the body of a missing pregnant woman. Rebecca Park was last seen getting into a vehicle on November 3rd. Investigators say she received about $2,000 from a family inheritance on the day she went missing. A searcher says a father and son first spotted her body along a trail in the Manistee National Forest.
Kimberly.
Yes. Rebecca.
So if they got a bus ticket, there's a record of there's a record of that.
The detective asked me and Brad to come in. We both went in. The detective talked to me and asked me if I'd do a lie detector test.
As of right now, as I'm talking to you guys, Cortney's house got searched, which is Rebecca's mom, and Rebecca's stepdad, Brad, is leading detectives, investigators, police around the property and around in the back of the house and everywhere else as he's helping them look for something, which could be the baby maybe, or evidence. I'll explain. Welcome. This is Fugitive TV. I'm your host, Ray Marcel. We talk about all these cases, unsolved mysteries. Some of these cases are missing people, and we take a look at it from a different perspective because I was once a fugitive on the run, and I've been to prison, been locked up. A lot of stuff has happened with me, so I can give a certain perspective that other people might not be able to. But what we're talking about right now is an update on Rebecca Park, okay? There's a lot of things going on right now. And for you guys that aren't familiar with Rebecca Park is a young lady who was pregnant at the time who went missing in a town that was right outside of Cadillac, Michigan, all right? This little rural area. She went missing and she was last seen by her own biological mother. And the reason why I say biological mother is because Rebecca was adopted by another family, so she was never really had a really close relationship with her bio mom.
Yeah, Rube, it's just an incredibly sad story at every turn. And who we're talking about is 22-year-old Rebecca Park. Her family says that she went missing about 3 weeks ago, and her body was found in a forest in northern Michigan in the Cadillac area last night. But the really tragic, even more tragic part of all of this is the location and condition of her baby is unknown at this time, and police are being incredibly quiet.
The young lady that was found resembles Rebecca Parks, a young lady that went missing on November 4th. And we are currently actively investigating that. That's a tragic time in our county, and hopefully this brings some closure to this awful incident.
Well, she ended up going missing, and at the time she was missing, she was pretty much could have gave birth any day, all right? Well, they did find her body not long ago. A few days ago, they found her body, okay?
So as we said, Rebecca's family confirms her body was found in the Manistee National Forest by searchers last night, not far from where she was last seen by her mother 21 days ago, 21 days earlier near Cadillac. That's up north, of course. Oddly, it's an area that had been searched before, but she was not there.
And so far right now, only people that are arrested, get this, is Rebecca's sister, okay? Her own sister, Kim, and her baby dad, Rich. They are both arrested right now, but not arrested for unaliving Rebecca. They're arrested for different charges, which I will explain that in a few if you don't know. So for anybody that's been lost in the confusion of who is who through all this triangle, here's a little chart for you, okay? So up above to your left, you have Cortney and or I should say Cortney's husband, Brad, and then you have Cortney, which is Rebecca and Kim's mom. And then all the way to the right, you have the mom's ex-boyfriend, Rich, who is also the baby daddy of Rebecca, who's right there in the middle, who they just found, who is Cortney's daughter. So Richard is technically Rebecca's baby's father, that they're saying, but also the ex-husband of the mom, okay? And so just in case everybody was confused on any of that, okay? There's also Richard's roommate, and then you have below Rebecca, you have her best friend, her friend Paige, and then you have Paige's parents as well. And her best friend Paige, their parents they even have charges against them too, and they're offenders. Crazy. I know it's crazy. And even Richard's roommate has charges against him. The whole town's filled with them. But right now, what's going on with that case is, remember how I told you the mom was the last one to see her? Well, they found Rebecca's body not far from the mother's house. What makes it more weird is this place was already searched. Search team has already searched it. And Rebecca's mom, Cortney, and Brad, the stepdad, I'm going to show you a graph if you guys are lost on this. I understand. They went for polygraph test, okay, the night before her body was found. All right. When they got back from the polygraph test, which was late at night, the next morning they pulled a search party. And that one time, Courtney's mom, I should say, I'm sorry, Rebecca's mom, Cortney, volunteered to search because this whole time she's never went out searching, pretty much never searched. She was always on live on TikToks and everything else, being interrogated by TikTokers, and she's answering these questions, and people are saying, "We know you did something to your daughter," and she's
Daughter was being abused. Where were you when
by you.
she could have used the goddamn house?
Like you.
Where were
Remember
you?
the time that you chased her out of your house with a baseball bat and my husband had to go and get her and your husband tried to ram his truck?
When did Josh ever have a truck here?
Never.
Yeah, he did. Actually, if you want to
No,
get technical,
he didn't.
it was a Jeep. Yes.
But the thing is you knew what the was going on with my daughter, and then where were you? Not a soul was around. Not even me.
Little
not
did
her
you know,
dad.
because you never
Not
talked
anybody.
to your daughter. You know how many times
Really?
me and Brittany? No, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's call it for what it is, Courtney. You know
How many times have I saved your daughter from a f***ing hot shot, Mel? How many times?
What, once? Look, I'm not denying the
And
fact that people
all the
have
H
issues.
that
Okay?
she
That's
had
not,
in the-
no, it's not about
And the
Brittany.
other things
It's about
that were in
Becca.
her bag that I took out? So
It's
your
not
daughter couldn't
about-
do it?
We're not talking about Brittany. We're talking about Becca, Courtney.
Do
And
not
I'm
come
here-
at
no.
me sideways.
You are spinning lies, and I'm tired of it. Trying to make this thing up about
Spinning
Becca
lies?
is here in Tennessee.
Then you better tell Kimmy to stop lying to me.
it got really, really messy, okay, on the social media world on top of things, because Courtney kept going on live on these TikTok panels, Instagram panels, Facebook posts, and not talking about where's my daughter, but
The detective asked me and Brad to come in. We both went in. The detective talked to me and asked me if I'd do a lie detector test. Did not give Brad the choice to even do a lie detector test. They automatically told him that he was doing it whether he liked it or not. While I was doing mine, I found out that Kimberly had said that I hit my daughter and I hit her body. Then I find out that she's trying to get my husband. Then I find out that she's been asking Brad about the trails behind my house. Okay. Tomorrow, I've agreed with everybody, 11 o'clock, be in front of my house or on the side road, whatever. You follow me. We do trail hunt out where Kimberly's asking. I do not know what we're going to find, if we find anything. I have no clue.
pretty much letting people interrogate her. It was weird. I've never seen nothing like this before. I'm going to explain why I think that all this happened, but the next morning after they took their polygraph test, Rebecca's mom, Cortney, the first time was like, all right, let's go search for my daughter. And then what happens? They find her. And when they find her, she was not far from the house. Okay. They pretty much dragged her into the forest of when I'm going to show you a map too of so that you guys know how rural this area is. All right, you guys. So right here is a map of this area is called Boone Township, Michigan. All right. This place is very small. Here, I'm gonna zoom out to let you see. As you see, it's very tiny. Very tiny place. Pretty much nothing there. Not a place I will be visiting anytime soon. But this is where Rebecca's mom lives at. Also the place they found her and last seen. Look, if I keep zooming in, you see all this? Do you see all that? It's insane. So yes, this is the area pretty much where Rebecca's mom, Cortney, lives at. And let's do from this view so you can actually see. Look at that. Nothing but forest. And then you have these little 2-track roads, dirt driveways. And yeah, it's insane. So people were searching these areas trying to see if they can find her. Okay, now let's get back out of here. I'm gonna show you something else. All right, so people are wondering, where is the little one at? Where could the little one be? Because this is where Rebecca was found. So could the little one be anywhere and hidden? Could the baby be sold or anything like that? I also went to another area. I've done a lot of cases, and not cases, but I've even been around a lot of people to where, unfortunately, when I was locked up, and hate to say this, but when I got locked up, I was around a lot of people who unalived other people, right? And even though they were in there for unaliving somebody, a lot of times it wasn't their first time. It was just the first time they got caught. It was just the first time they got caught. You know where a lot of times they buried somebody at? A cemetery. So I was just looking to see where the closest cemetery is at. And then you have Boone West Side Cemetery. Boone West Side Cemetery is actually not that far. I actually Googled it up just to see exactly how far it was. And it ended up being like 45 miles or something like that. It wasn't far. I'm sorry, like, let me do this again. Not 45 miles. Sorry, like 4 miles, I think. Let's try this again. So you guys can see in real time. Let's see how far it is. 4 minutes away. That's what it is. So 4 minutes away, 2.3 miles. Okay. And a lot of times what these individuals will do is they'll take the person or the body and then they'll bury it in the cemetery with somebody else who's unalived. And because a lot of times, who's gonna go digging up somebody's grave, right? So this is the cemetery right here. Now I'm not saying this is where you know the baby's born, at. I'm not saying that, but I was just curious because I know sometimes this will happen. Now I will say this, okay, that even though these people they try and dig something, a lot of times they will either have inside help to do it because digging a grave is hard work. I've said this in a lot of videos. It is not easy to try and dig 6 feet deep. It is not easy at all. Now, if they did it to where it was on top of somebody who's already there, it wouldn't have to be 6 feet then, right? It would probably be like 4 or something like that. But still, even 4 feet is hard. 2 feet is hard. Very hard to do. So a lot of times these people have some sort of inside connection, inside thing, or they have some sort of person that works there already, and then that person helps cover them up. There's all kind of ways to this, but I was just saying, like, it's so many locations that the baby could be found. It's crazy. And one of the reasons why I found that cemetery is because Courtney, the mom of Rebecca, her last name right now is like Bertholomew or something like that. Something like that. But her original last name, I believe, is Fox. because Fox was Courtney's mom's last name or Courtney's grandparent last name. So there is a Fox or a couple Foxes that is in that cemetery. So that was how I even found that cemetery. But she wasn't that far from the house. Not at all. They pretty much dragged her off of the property line into the national forest, left her there, and that's when they found her. All right. And that was found live pretty much on TikTok. My other video, I show you some TikTok videos where they actually just discovered her. Okay. But right now, Courtney's house is got searched. So I knew that was going to happen. Some people are wondering why her house didn't get searched like right then and there. They had to go get a search warrant. Not only that, the body was not found on her property. Now, see, if the body was found actually on her property, they have a reason to go in there right then and there and start searching because the body would have been found on her property. And not only that, the body was found in the way it was, meaning her stomach was gutted. And everybody knows that she was expecting every day. So that means that something got taken out of her, or I should say so that means the little one got taken out of her. And so where's the little one? So they would have had a reason to search her house right then and there. Far as I know, her body was not on the property. They dragged her into the national forest right past the property. And because it was right past the property, they have to do the proper procedures to now go get a search warrant to go inside the house. So far, an autopsy did confirm that this is Rebecca. So it is her. But there's still been no cause of death. And because there's no cause of death, they can't officially rule anything yet as into charging this person for unaliving, charging this person for unaliving. They can't really do that yet until that comes back. All right. So cops are searching for the baby of a pregnant woman who was found in the woods, or I'm sorry, woodland days before her due date. Like I said, my very first video on this case was on her due date, actually. And there's some pictures. So that's Rich. That is Rebecca. Rebecca again. Now that is Rebecca's sister, the one who's currently incarcerated right now in Wexford County Jail. Police confirmed on Saturday that Rebecca's body was found in Manistee National Forest with no signs of the baby. So she was found, and like I said, it was live on TikTok pretty much when they found her. And when they found her, she was gutted. There was nothing there. Her official cause of death is still being investigated. A coordinated search for the missing child is underway alongside the Wexford County Sheriff's Office, Michigan State Police, and other law enforcement agencies. Cops say they can only release extremely limited information. Yeah, so they're not going to release any information because there is still an investigation going on. Even though two people are arrested, if you realize their charges have nothing to do, I shouldn't say nothing, but their charges are not for the unaliving of Rebecca. They're for totally something different. Now, Kim's charge, she has tampering with evidence, and a lot of people believe that charge has to do with a cell phone that was found. That was Rebecca's cell phone because Rebecca supposedly had different cell phones. Supposedly, Kim found one of her phones, did something with it. I'm not sure. It's just some speculation on that. There is no concrete evidence to support that. So far that's just speculation. But one of the tampering with evidence charges is possibly due to a cell phone that was charged. Then it says witnesses said she was last seen getting into a passenger side of a dark colored vehicle outside her mother's house. Park was not heard from again, and days later, her phone was found near the same home. So they found a phone down the road from Cortney, her mom's house. Now that's not the phone I'm talking about. There's supposed to be there was another phone that she had that Kim went and got. Now Rebecca's fiance Richard and Park's 21-year-old sister Kimberly have since been arrested. Failure, a convicted 43-year-old offender, RSO, was detained the same night as when Rebecca's body was found. While Kimberly was taken into custody just after 1 a.m. following morning records show. She was charged with tampering with evidence in a criminal case, lying to a police officer during a violent crime investigation, and filing a false police report, which is a felony. So she's being held on $7,750,000 cash bond. I stuttered over that because every time I see that number, that is high for those charges. That is extremely high for those charges. I myself got a tampering with evidence charge. Actually, I got a tampering with a witness charge, and mine was only, I want to say, $5,000. So they gave her the extreme amount, and they did that because they know that she has some correlation with what happened with Rebecca, but they just can't prove it yet. So that's why they gave her that high amount. Frailer was charged with two pharmaceutical related crimes and is facing a life sentence due to his twisted past as a habitual offender. So just for these crimes, he's already facing life because he's an habitual offender, which means he keeps getting arrested for pretty much the same thing. He remains in jail, held on $1 million cash bond after being described as a community and flight risk. So far, they have both not been charged with what happened with Rebecca. Here we go. So it says Rebecca's father on Tuesday. This is not Rebecca's father. This is Rebecca's baby daddy, Richard. Rebecca's father Tuesday, that his 20-year-old daughter's remains were located during an ongoing search effort on a dirt road near where she was last seen, which was near Cortney's house. Now, there's a second life involved, right? Which is the little one. But the problem is nobody knows the little one's alive. No one knows where the little one's at. Nobody even knows what the little one looks like. So you could walk right past the child and you won't even know because nobody knows what it looks like, right? Or the child looks like. Well, not only did they search the house, Brad, who is Courtney's boyfriend or husband, whatever you want to call this man, he's actually leading detectives, police, investigators around the property and through the trails behind the house, like he's helping them look for something. All right. Now, when her body was first discovered, they did put Brad in a back of a cop car, but he was never arrested. People were wondering, like, why? I have a theory on this. I'm thinking when they went for these polygraph tests, I'm thinking that Brad might have turned informant or Brad started giving up information because those polygraph tests are tricky. Even if you pass, they will come back and lie to you and say things like, yeah, we know you're hiding something. So now you're thinking you failed, right? So I'm thinking that Brad probably gave up a little info. Now, what the info is, we don't know. Or maybe he gave up some info, not realizing he gave up the info. You get what I'm saying? And that was one of the reasons why when they found her, they kind of took Brad into custody, but he never got arrested. A lot of times when crimes go down, okay, and there's a group of you, and you see one of them go into custody in the back of a cop car, especially with no cuffs on, then he gets released, but then you see other people going to jail. A lot of times it's a sign that he was giving them info. 99% of the time, that's what happens. So now you got Brad leading them out in the forest searching for things. So that gives you an indication that the cops trust him in some sort of way for him to be leading them on this investigation into whatever they're looking for. All right. So that is what's going on right now with the story. Rebecca Park. We hate that she was found that way. Do you think that her child is going to be found? And not only that, what do you think happened? Some speculation is saying that the baby was probably sold. It could have been sold on the black market.
You know, it's pretty funny.
Because I am going on what Tia
I have
said.
talked to Kimmy. Stop for a minute. I have talked to Kimmy more than one time. I have.
Yeah, you think you have.
No, I have. You want the screenshots on that too?
Kimmy hands the phone off every time you text.
No. It's her voice.
Oh, yeah.
It's not yours.
You're right. It's not. But every time you text, she used to hand the phone off.
Courtney, are you willing to accept a couple questions if we're we're neutral? We just have a couple questions for you. We will have a team out here tomorrow at 11. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, but we do have some questions. We can let you speak. and repeat what you said out there because it was difficult to hear. But when you're done, if you would please accept some questions as long as we're respectful.
Yeah. Saturday night before Kimberly left with Brendan, she had stated that, was it Saturday? It was Saturday, right? She stated that she was the one in the black car. Where she got the car, I don't know. But she stated that she was the one in the car. She was the one that picked her sister up. She also stated that she took her to a bus station, put her on a bus, and sent her to Tennessee.
What do you believe? Do you believe that could have happened? All right. Not only that, when they found her body, now you gotta remember she was missing for a few weeks, but when they found her, supposedly they found her like it almost just happened. There was fresh drag marks. They said the look on her, some animals got to her, but there was really no decomposing. So when a person passes away and you're for that long, usually you're going to start decomposing. Not only that, you're going to smell it before you walk up to it. So did they have her hidden in a cool area? Was there a refrigerator? Was there a freezer? Because in the back of the Cortney's house, there was a freezer supposedly that was covering a hole where Brad used to go hide in the hole when the cops come because Brad is a registered offender. The mom, Cortney, claims there was never no electric or anything going through the house. That's what she claims. But she was also on live one time saying that Kim was on a computer on the black web. So how are you on a computer if you ain't got no electric on the black web? There's a lot of things going on. Now, she might not have electricity going out, but does not mean there's no generator in the back. They could have a generator. They could have two, because during these searches, you did see gas cans. So there could be a generator. Who knows? All I know is this is a town of these little small people. A lot going on. There's a reason why I think Cortney and all of them was getting on social media left and right. A lot of it had to do, I believe, with clout, clicks, gaining attention. You got to think about it. These people have probably never got this much attention in their whole life. And it's sad. It really is sad because it's the wrong type of attention. Okay. So instead of making posters, my missing daughter, instead of making posts, instead of going on these live panels saying, please help find my daughter and getting off, they make these posts and start making up sometimes lies that change 3 and 4 times.
Especially in this situation where I think, excuse my French, but Cortney may suck a lot of D.
Oh,
well, that's how I feel.
Put it in
no,
reverse,
you're absolutely
Terry.
Right. I'm serious, and in all honesty, like, I'm a mom of 3. I'm going to be 52 years old, and if my kid was missing, one of my kids, I would not be out on TikTok, because I've listened to all of her stuff, and I mean, I work 12-hour shifts, and that's all I listen to. Like, I'm on the lives, I listen, and shame on her. Shame on her. I wouldn't even let her at the funeral. She don't even deserve to be there. And that's my opinion, and you guys can hate on me all you want, but
No, I agree.
No, amen. And you know what? Honestly, Terry, I got one, I got one wish right now, and I wish by the time the body is released back to the family, she is behind those steel bars.
A lot of times, just because they're getting the attention. Human nature, it is normal for us to want and seek attention. This is why kids grow up and a lot of times they join gangs or they get involved with certain things that they're not getting at home because they want some sort of attention. That's just how humans are most of the time. But it's sad because the attention was over the wrong thing. Now, I'm not saying this is why they were all online, answering questions and things like that and being interrogated 24 hours a day. But just looking at the way the human brain works, it's probably why. Please like, subscribe. If you heard of this case, don't worry, I'm going to keep you updated if they find any evidence at the house, okay? Like I said, if you guys even live near there, let me know. My last video, you guys were commenting. Some of you guys did live by there, okay? This is Fugitive TV. Also, let me know what city and state or country you're from because I'd love to know. I have my information below. Any cases you want me to cover. I get a lot of emails, so it takes me a few minutes to go over these emails and look at some of these cases, all right? All that's going to be down below. Fugitive TV. Take care of one another. We're out.